McLaren Racing CEO Zack Brown just launched an all-out attack on Red Bull in a recent interview. From saying he genuinely doesn't like Christian Horner to claiming that Max Verstappen will leave after this season, here's everything he said about his rival team. Zack Brown has convinced himself that Max Verstappen will bid farewell to Red Bull after the 2025 Formula One season. As for his next destination, Brown is putting his money on Mercedes, believing the Silver Arrows are the best-equipped engine manufacturer to tackle the massive regulation shake-up coming in 2026. Before that, though, Verstappen has a shot at making Red Bull history in 2025, gunning for a mind-blowing fifth consecutive world championship. But the competition is heating up. McLaren threw down the gauntlet in Australia, dominating qualifying and putting on a thrilling show in the race, with Lando Norris fending off Verstappen in a nail-biting wet-weather finish. Despite finishing less than a second behind Norris, Verstappen wasn't entirely convinced by his RB21's performance, admitting that Red Bull might not have the outright pace to secure victory, just as the F1 circus heads to China. When asked how he felt about P2, Verstappen responded, saying, "I think it's good compared to the teams behind us, but if you look at the first stint, we were quite a bit off. As soon as the tyres started to overheat, we had no chance. McLaren just took off. So we still have a lot of work to do to fight for a win. But yeah, I'm happy that we are second here. It's basically one place better than we should have been as McLaren's Oscar Piastri spun out of P2. And it's 18 more points than I had last year at this race." Max Verstappen and Red Bull once ruled the ground effect era of Formula One, but after a rocky stretch last season where Verstappen went a staggering 10 races without a win, rumours of his departure kicked into high gear. Even Red Bull's top brass, Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, acknowledged that his contract includes a performance-related escape clause. With uncertainty swirling, two potential landing spots emerged: Mercedes and Aston Martin. And if you ask Zack Brown, he's placing his bet on Verstappen donning Silver Arrows overalls in 2026. That's the year Formula One gets a radical reset, with brand new chassis and overhauled power units featuring an even 50-50 split between electrical power and combustion engines. Aston Martin, however, has some tempting aces up its sleeve. For one, F1 design mastermind Adrian Newey, who helped deliver all 4 of Verstappen's titles and 14 for Red Bull, could be part of the project. Then there's their upcoming partnership with Honda, the very engine supplier that powered Verstappen to championship glory. Mercedes, on the other hand, boasts a stellar track record with regulation changes, having absolutely nailed the last major engine overhaul in 2014. So, which way will Verstappen go? Brown shared his prediction with The Telegraph. "Oh, I think he'll leave at the end of this year, most likely to Merc." There's been talk of Aston Martin too, with Adrian Newey joining. But as great as Adrian is, and he's the greatest ever, you need a whole team around you. You need the culture. That takes time. If I was betting, I'd bet on Merc. In the last 10 years, they've won the championship 7 or 8 times. Last year, they won 5 races. They have stability. We know Toto, Wolff, Mercedes' principal and 1/3 team owner, likes him. And I think we all feel HPP, Mercedes' high-performance powertrains, is best equipped on the power unit side heading into the new engine regulations next year. Plus, George Russell is out of contract at the end of this season, and Kimi Antonelli will be on a series of 1 years. However, Toto Wolff made it clear at the Australian Grand Prix that Mercedes isn't actively pursuing Verstappen, at least for now. With George Russell set to ink a new deal, the Verstappen speculation is staying in the garage. Speaking ahead of the race weekend, flanked by Russell, rising star Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Mercedes reserve driver Valtteri Bottas, Wolff addressed the situation head-on. He said, "We, Wolff and Russell, have had a chat 2 weeks ago about what the right timing would be to liaise, and I am, naively or not, someone who sticks to what he says. And these 3 are the combination that I want to go forward with Mercedes. I have no other reasons to doubt that, on the contrary. And we are going to find some time, I guess, before the summer. I need to be careful what I say to you because every month we'll have those discussions when they happen, but in a timely manner, without disrupting the season. I think we said it really clear last year, Verstappen said the same. We need to concentrate on our driver lineup. I won't flirt outside if I'm in a good relationship, and this is true for this year too." So, at the moment, that signing Verstappen is not on any radar. And I don't plan to shift my concentration away from these guys, Russell and Antonelli. And make sure that George has some visibility very soon, or has a contract very soon. Zack Brown's prediction about Verstappen's future isn't just idle speculation. It turns out he's done some digging of his own. According to reports, the McLaren boss previously reached out to Verstappen's camp to get the inside scoop on his contract situation at Red Bull. Since 2023, McLaren has been riding high with their dynamic duo, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, a pairing that delivered the team's first Constructors' Championship since 1998 in the F1 2024 season. Both drivers have their sights set on individual glory in 2025, with Piastri receiving a confidence boost before the season even began by signing a multi-year extension that locks him in until at least the end of 2028, the same year Verstappen's Red Bull contract is set to expire. According to De Telegraph, Brown made his move some time ago, reaching out to Verstappen's management to see if there was even the slightest chance of prying the three-time champ away from Red Bull before he committed to Piastri. And as for his Red Bull counterpart Christian Horner, Zack Brown insists his feud with him is very real, making it clear he's not a fan of how Horner rolls. The two have never exactly been best mates, but their relationship has only grown icier. Brown recently stirred the pot again by criticising Red Bull's 2025 driver decision, arguing that Liam Lawson should have been promoted over Yuki Tsunoda. Their rivalry even took centre stage in the latest season of Drive to Survive, where Horner didn't hold back, going so far as to call Brown a prick during a Bahrain press conference in 2024. That moment came amid the investigation into Horner regarding alleged inappropriate behaviour, which he has consistently denied. But their history of clashes goes back further. One of the biggest flashpoints came in 2022 when Red Bull was found guilty of breaching the 2021 cost cap. Brown didn't just voice his frustration, he wrote an angry letter to the FIA, outright stating that the overspend constituted cheating by giving Red Bull an unfair advantage across technical, sporting and financial fronts. That led to a spectacularly tense FIA press conference at the US Grand Prix, where Horner flatly dismissed the allegations. Red Bull eventually entered an accepted breach agreement with the FIA, but Brown wasn't satisfied, later accusing the team, and Horner specifically, of making excuses rather than taking responsibility. Despite all the tension, Brown sees their rivalry as a good thing. Speaking to The Telegraph, the McLaren boss shared his thoughts on the ongoing animosity with Horner. "Oh, it's genuine. There's no love lost there. I don't like how he rolls and no doubt he feels the same about me. But I think it's good for the sport. You need different characters. You need these rivalries. Some are friendly, sporting rivalries. Some are a bit more vicious. It's always been like that." Whatever the case, Red Bull is giving Max Verstappen their all this season. Christian Horner has lifted the lid on the extreme measures Red Bull took during pre-season testing to give Max Verstappen the best shot at making history this year. With a fifth consecutive title on the line, something only Michael Schumacher has ever pulled off, Red Bull was willing to push the limits. But their Bahrain test in late February raised eyebrows for all the wrong reasons. Instead of topping the timesheets, Red Bull found itself dead last in total laps completed. The RB21 appeared to be a handful, sparking whispers of trouble behind the scenes. Those concerns only deepened after Friday practice at the Australian Grand Prix, where Verstappen reported a mysterious lack of grip. While the car's balance seemed fine, something just wasn't clicking, leaving the team scrambling for answers. By Saturday, however, Red Bull and Verstappen were back in the fight. The Dutchman secured third place on the grid, though he was still 4/10 off the McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, who locked out the front row. Sunday's race was a wild one, featuring an uncharacteristic mistake from Verstappen, giving Piastri back second place after overtaking him on lap 1. But despite the drama, Verstappen recovered to take a crucial P2 finish behind Norris. Looking back, Horner believes Red Bull's pre-season struggles were all part of a bigger plan, one that's already paying off in the championship fight. "We did some big setup changes in Bahrain," said Horner. "We purposely wanted to go to extremes to understand the setup parameters so that you've got your toolbox knowledge when you go racing. But are these changes enough to keep Verstappen happy as a Red Bull driver, or is Zack Brown onto something?" Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.